and it's another half hour before it's actually ready.
Oh, we said it'll be ready in a half hour after you get here.
It's very good, though, incredibly good. And something I forgot until right now, I had a plan for what I was going to do here on the podcast. You aren't.
You planned? You planned for this?
Yes, indeed. Oh no, I'm getting a lot of notes. Oh, you remember this happened once before
Yeah.
that I'm supposed to restart my computer, and it just keeps on clicking. I think the
Bleep,
last time we just
bleep,
ignored it,
bleep.
and it just happened. Um, there are six different notification bars that keep on showing up.
In that case, Paul.
Recording
So,
in progress.
oh, just in case. Yeah.
Because
But
that
what I was
saved
gonna
us
do,
last week because my stuff wasn't working last week. So
hey,
what the people on the podcast
giving
heard
me
was the
those
Zoom recording.
notes. No more notes. They've all disappeared, which is good. But what I was gonna say, so what I was gonna do is I was gonna show you their banana pudding.
Okay.
That I was gonna eat it on the podcast, but then I was like, you know what? Maybe not. Maybe I won't eat on the podcast. Perhaps that'll be better, and I'll just eat it later. But yeah, they have these little tins of banana pudding, and every single time
I actually do
that we've
enjoy
gone
banana
there,
pudding.
they give us extra things. So they gave an extra banana pudding. They gave us some chicken, etc. And I think there might be a correlation to the food being later and that happening.
Oh, it's an apology for making you wait so long.
Well, either that or it's a laid back place, and so you wait a little bit longer. But they also give you extra food because there's extra food.
Are
I
they
don't know.
vegan?
Oh heck no, Magic
Okay.
City Barbecue, Ben. Uh,
No, I'm just
I
correlating the poor service to the
oh no.
few vegan restaurants that
Hey,
I don't think
and
it no longer exists in Seattle.
and not poor service. Oh
Mean
no,
service.
just relaxed service. For Magic City Barbecue.
Oh, I got you. Okay.
Yeah, so they do catering a lot. Oh, and this is one of the other things. Um, we kept on calling asking if they had sandwiches because we saw a menu that had sandwiches listed. They only do sandwiches on their catering menu now. And so I'm thinking at some point of time of buying a flat of sandwiches from them. And Jennifer is like, we need to make friends first. And I was like, okay.
And Paul's like, right, friends will eat these.
And speaking about friends, we have made some inroads with in-person people, and by that I mean signed.
I just lock him. I can't hear you. And now I've lost your. What?
Or hear me
Oh,
apparently,
here we go.
but
Now
I'm still here.
I can hear you again now.
So can you see me also?
Yeah.
Okay,
So
I don't know.
Weird blip. I lost you. You had made some inroads with in-person.
Oh, yes, and the way that we've done that is by, of course, Betty is now in an improv class.
Yes.
And so we're meeting people that we don't know simply by taking Betty to the improv class.
That's right.
And so I wanted to talk this through with you, and see what you think. So sometimes what happens with Betty is that she gets interested in a thing, and then I get interested in a thing, and her thing becomes my thing, and then she's not interested in the thing anymore. You may notice that I have this mallet station as an example.
If you
Now-
did not become interested in the mallet station, she would still be playing it.
Well, we don't know that. That's a good point. But there have been other things of that nature.
Right.
Also, there have been times where I become interested in something, and Jennifer can never like it because I was so interested in it.
Game of Thrones, for instance.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, it makes her incredibly like sad, not upset, sort of sad and upset. frustrated. There we go. It makes her frustrated that I've never seen the final season of Game of Thrones.
Because
Like by that time, I was just
yeah,
like, ah, that's
you'd
it. That's
pieced out.
enough. Yeah. Heard bad things about it. Didn't have HBO at the time. Decided not to watch it when I got HBO again. And I think I still made the right choice. And also, Game of Thrones. Some might say some problematic things happen in that show. Um,
But it was super popular when it was out. I
it was.
completed it because I am a completionist, and so I needed that closure, regardless
I
of the
liked
quality.
it. I liked it best when it wasn't a show. It was just the potential of a show, and I think that's the thing that bothered people the most.
Yeah.
So anyway, so the point is, so she's in this class, and that's good. But
When
just
she's in the
being
class, do you guys stick around and watch, or do you
no,
drop her off and
no,
peace out?
we drop her off and peace out.
Good for you.
Um, yeah, uh, not just because they wouldn't let us. I'm kidding. No, there is a final performance which Betty may or may not get to go to, depending, because her cousin is having a graduation party at the same time.
Get to go
And I
to
think
and participate in?
I think Betty is going to go to the party. Oh, wait, what?
But the
Go
the
to
final performance, you said she might not get to go to it. She might not get to go to it, and she might not get to participate in it. Is that what you
that's
said?
what I mean. Yeah, yeah. I mean, she she would be in it
Yeah.
if she's going to be in it. It's a decision that I think we're going to make with her at some point in time, depending on how the class goes, everything like that.
Right.
But so here's my thought, and I want to see what you think because I care about you and your opinion, Ben. So this town, Chicago, big improv town,
Yeah.
right? There are places uh where I mean, like you could actually work at some of the improv schools, like being an instructor or performing in the shows that they have every night, etc. That's like at IO Theater. And there's also Second City, of course, which is, famous for all its stuff. The Revival is a smaller place. It was the least expensive out of all of them, and it's the closest to my house.
Is that where Betty's taking her classes?
Mhm, yes. Um, if I'm taking the train, it would be an hour to get to the IO Theater, about the same to get to Second City. Revival is 42 minutes. And so I'm thinking about like if I were to do something, the Revival would be a smaller pond,
Right.
if you will. Um, and there is an appeal to that. There's appeal to, not going to the place where everything is. I had this thought, and I wanted to run it by you, since you, of course, went to school in Seattle and are familiar with the Seattle things, right?
Some things.
Annex was a smaller but important theater company, and so if we were thinking about um, theater companies in Seattle, like bigger ones. You have like Seattle Shakespeare Company, and what are some other ones that were like larger?
That were larger? Are we talking like
Yeah,
high level Lort theaters like the
yeah.
Rep
The
and
Rep,
Intamon?
Intamin was the one I was thinking of.
Yeah.
The way I see it right now is that Io is sort of more like Intamin,
Okay.
and Revival is sort of more like Annex. Like
Okay.
like
There's quite a
it
gulf between
seems.
those two things.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It seems like one is there. None of them are like corporate, right?
Right.
But one of them is much larger
Yeah.
than the other one.
One I've heard of, the other I haven't.
Yeah. So So I don't know. I mean,
So you're deciding on whether or not you want to try to start with revival and move your way up to
oh,
IO,
or just stay
or
with
just
it.
go to IO.
I mean, this isn't. Yeah. Well, kind of all of the above. Like, is it okay just to? I mean, like, is it okay just to find someplace? And you're not doing it for a job. You're just doing it because it's, neat
I
and fun.
mean, I've been with Annex Theater for 25 years,
Right.
almost
And this is
26.
this is what I'm thinking is that it would be okay to do something that's just, you know,
If
just
you
fun
enjoy it and you're
with a
having
group of people.
fun, like, and you don't depend on it to get paid, then like, are you looking to like make a career in improv? Are you looking to get famous as an improviser, or are you looking to
See,
fulfill
I'm
some sort of improv hole that will enrich your life in some way?
I'm looking to fill the hole, man. That's the thing.
My
I
hole hasn't
don't
been filled in years.
I mean, I am not here's what I would say is that I am interested in doing the thing, right?
Yeah.
I'm interested in actually performing and having fun with other people doing it. I
Yeah.
don't even know. I don't even know if I necessarily want to be on stage as much as I just want to do the thing, which is why which is why classes
Forever
sound
classes.
like a good plan.
Yeah.
So
Or
I don't know.
you know what you could do is you could find a bunch of people. You could go to any one of these improv classes and say make friends and form your own troupe with the goal of just like doing improv without the goal of like performing in front of an audience. Sort of making
Yeah.
what we had with Annex Improv.
Well, see, that's the thing. Annex Improv was great, and I don't think that I can. This is one of the other reasons I want to talk to you. I don't know if I can do that again because I don't have the relationships, right?
Right.
Or the
Yeah.
access to the space. That was like lightning in a bottle. One of those
Yeah.
things that we happen to have access to that space. Happen to have a bunch of, I would say, talented folks who didn't care that we weren't performing in front of
Yeah.
a large audience and were just down to like play. And that was awesome.
Yeah.
I talk about this sometimes already. Like, do you think that the people in the like when Mike Dowdy formed Soul Coughing,
Right.
right? Do you think that they knew that they were soul coughing when they first started, being soul coughing? Like, did they know the band that they would become when they? Because I think there are some artists who do, who
Yeah.
like they start out and they're like, audience isn't here yet, but we're gonna. Because they played at the Knitting Factory, and Mike Dowdy worked at the Knitting Factory, right?
From
Wasn't that how it kind
Yeah,
of?
he was a doorman there, and then he started playing there. From what I understand, it was a he. There were a bunch of bands that like switched members, right? So it wasn't like these guys only played together and with Mike Doty. I
Yeah,
think they played mostly together, but they had a bunch of different bands as well. And then once Soul Coughing started getting popular, they kind of like coalesced around that.
yeah.
So
So
I don't.
that's, I mean,
And then maybe they recognized something in Mike Doty that let them like a of all stick with him, and b of all, if you trust his memoir, abuse him and take advantage of him.
yeah. Hey, this guy. I mean,
He's young
like
enough; we can take advantage.
this is the thing is that I can see how that could work. And let me give you just an example, right? I'm not saying Mike Dowdy's rich, right? If he were, though, if he were, and these other people were like, you know, Mike bought the PA and Mike bought this thing, if
Right.
that were happening, then I could see that it's really like I'm just contemplating it. This predatory band that forms around, like if that were a real thing, if it wasn't his paranoia, how
Yeah.
crazy that would be. Like they, I
Stranger
mean,
things have happened.
yeah. And now he toured with them, but it was very businesslike. The things that I saw.
They're starting a new tour. They're like, I think
Oh,
there's another tour coming up soon. They're not coming to the Northwest at all. But
oh, maybe they're coming to Chicago.
I don't think Chicago's on the itinerary. They're definitely going to be. I think the closest they're going to be to Chicago is St. Louis,
Oh, yikes.
but it's mostly like a southeast southwest kind of
Hmm.
tour,
Interesting.
Midwest.
It's third largest city in the United States. Why would you come? I don't know. No, no, no.
They played.
But
I mean, here's the thing: they played Chicago on their last tour, like they
yeah,
played Seattle on their last tour. So I'm like, all
they
right.
they played Chicago on their last tour. You didn't show up. They were like, "Why do we even bother?" Um,
I don't see
no, but
Paul
you
Goody
enjoyed
in the
yourself,
house.
right?
Wait, what's that?
You enjoyed it though. When
Oh
they did
yeah,
come to
yeah. I'd go see them again if they were coming
Auntie
to
Donna
town.
is going to be going on a tour, and I hear they're going to go to the United States, but I don't see any dates for it yet. I'm hoping I, and this is the reason why I was like, Paul Tompkins' Varietopia is coming here to Chicago,
Yeah,
and I was like, no, probably not. Even though I like him,
I imagine
I
a
like
lot
him
of
a
these
lot,
go through Chicago.
but yeah, it's one of those things where like I don't like going out to things. Which is again one of the reasons why getting involved in some sort of a theater thing might be good.
Definitely
Oh,
gets you out of the house.
speaking about a type of theater thing, Jennifer's not pod, full on studio is almost done.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, she's doing it all herself. Uh,
but Paul,
we
what happens when you want to sell the house?
we're not going to sell the house. I mean, that's the thing, right? Like we've I mean, we saved the trim that we took off, but the idea would be that it's somebody else's problem. We are going to,
Certainly will be.
the plan is to just we're going to stay here and we're going to, make the house work, basically. If long term plan, my thought is basically eventually some improv place will open in this area and then I'll move to that one. But for right now,
Maybe that means that you have to create some new improv place.
right, exactly. That's the question. Is that what the deal would be? So we'll see how it works. The one thing that I was thinking about is that the revival, and hey, if you're listening and you're IO Theater, hi IO Theater. This I don't mean this in a bad way at all. The one thing is that revival in their little promotional materials, they talk about the game of the scene,
Yeah.
which is a UCB kind of concept that they talk about a lot. And I like that more than I like the relationship based improv stuff, which means the philosophy of it may match my philosophy more anyway, which might be another reason to get involved with it in
Yeah.
that way.
I
So,
know I know a local improviser who both performs and directs improv, and she likes the games more than like the long. She hates long form improv, so she's like,
yeah,
I can't work at Jack City because that's like all they do is long form improv. Like, I don't think that's
yeah.
true, but like their main thing is long form improv.
Oh, yeah. And by the way, when I say game, um, I you have game and long form improv as well. The game of the scene
Right.
is the basic idea. And so, um, and I know you know this, Ben, but for the listener, just so that the basic idea is like, so if Ben and I are, um, like, there's someone who read a letter out one time as sort of the opening of the scene, and the letter was very short. sentences like, "Hi, Margaret. It's me again. I went to the store. I bought some things. I like buying things. It's good to have money. I have a good job." Like that. That the letter is written in that way. And so in the scene, people are having a normal conversation, and then this guy walks in and he says, "Hi, Jim. Hi, Sally. It's good to see you. Glad to be." And then the game is that,
Right.
okay, people are going to be talking like they were talking in that letter.
Yeah.
Whereas in a more relationship based thing, um, somebody might be doing that, but what you're more concerned about is, do John and Sally know each other? How much of a, are they mad about something? What's the thing that's driving this? Which is less what I'm interested in. I'm more
Because you hate
interested in the
relationships,
forms.
famously.
I I I don't understand what people are doing with each other, Ben.
I
We
don't
should
get
all be in our
people,
individual pods.
but I get comedy.
Yeah. I Comedy is math. It's very simple.
It's
They're
made
all functions. You
Comedy
put
is
the
made of star stuff.
Oh, hey, speaking about oh my God. Um Let me just say that I thought for a moment that you were doing a Keanu Reeves impression, which, look,
I want to
your
see.
impressions
Yeah.
are fine. Um, but
I'm gonna
I
put that
had
on my
this,
website. Your impressions are fine.
yeah, thanks. Um, but what I found out, Alex Winter and Keanu
I
Reeves
know what you're gonna say.
are doing Waiting for Godot
Waiting for Godot.
in New York City, I believe.
Yeah.
I believe it's in New York. It might be on Broadway.
I
But
didn't see
that
where, but it is.
sounds awesome. Because here's the thing. Um, I believe in both of them as actors that it's not going to be them doing Bill and Ted.
No, 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 no. I don't.
It's going
I
to be them
wish they would
actually
do. I
doing
like.
it.
They need to at least have like a special like late night engagement where they are Bill and Ted.
I am worried. I am worried slightly that there is a piece somewhere in that full show where they nod to Bill and Ted somehow, where they
Yeah.
find a place that they do that. But Waiting for Godot, as you know, something I really like.
I don't know.
Uh,
I don't know who's playing Pozzo and
yeah,
Lucky
who's
though.
playing? Yeah, that's what I want to know too.
I'm gonna look that up.
Did you say Pazzo?
I did say Pozzo.
I think that's the right pronunciation for it, but I've never pronounced it that way.
Pozzo? Pozo?
Yeah, yeah. I'm not going to say it any other way because I think what you said is how it's supposed to be pronounced, and I just didn't notice.
All right, let's see.
I still think that I can do this before. One of the things on my bucket list is to memorize Lucky's speech. I don't do it, but I really would like to.
You know, it's funny. The New York Theater Guide website does
Hmm.
not list any other actors for the
Other
show
than those two,
other than those two.
huh?
Keanu is Estragon and Alex is Vladimir.
Really? That's interesting. I would have thought they would have cast them the opposite way around.
Maybe they just tried it once in rehearsal and it worked.
Maybe their director said, "Hey, here's something I'd like you to try."
Just for fun, let's do it this way. Yeah, I don't know. I can't find it anyway.
I still think it was a brilliant move on his part. For
Where?
those of you who don't
Yeah,
know, yeah, Ben and I are discussing. We had a show, Naked Ladies, where we wrote a part for Ben and a part for Paul. And
where we played. I played Ben. Paul played Paul.
Brett Fetzer suggested that we switch roles, and it worked out. It worked out pretty well.
that oddly enough, that is not the first time I was fired from a character named after me.
Exactly. Oh, one of the people that the revival is named Ben also,
Oh,
and Betty
better
called
not have
him
another
Ben
Pollen Ben.
Ben too. And there was another guy named Eric, and it was funny too because I said, "Hi, I'm Paul." I said, "I'm Eric. I work," and then he gestured at the revival,
Uh,
and then sort of laughed sheepishly because he
he's like, I've been
realized
here
that that was obvious.
26 years.
Oh no, he seemed like a younger man. Uh,
I started as a
so
child.
I sat in on because I was waiting for Betty. I was in the lobby, and they had a sketch comedy, not sketch comedy, sorry, stand-up comedy uh, class that was going at the same time. And it was,
A
the
stand-up
first
class.
the first thing where people, yeah. Now this is really it made me realize that I'm not interested in stand-up, and therefore a class on stand-up is even less interesting to me. But there was a whole bunch of stuff about them, what can be a joke and what,
Right.
have your own dedicated notebook to writing stuff and all that. And I was like, I,
Best practices.
I wouldn't, I wouldn't want to do it. And I realized, and I think you and I talked about this plenty of times, but I don't know if we've talked about it in this podcast. Um, when I was a kid, I was interested in stand-up comedy because I didn't know that there were other forms of comedy that you could do.
Oh, yeah.
Because I didn't do it ever because I hated bars
As a kid.
as a kid and as a younger adult.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, never wanted to go to one or be in one. I did go to a bar every once in a while in Columbia, Missouri, a bar called Shattered, which was like a goth kind of bar, but even that just wasn't
Yeah.
like that cool for me.
I always kind of thought that in if my life took a different path, I would at least attempt stand-up comedy. I don't think I never did it though because at least like early on as a kid, I'm like I'm an actor, right? I need
Yeah.
to pursue acting, and also I was never really confident in my jokes,
Hmm.
and so I saw when I was in college, a friend of mine took a stand up class. I said stand up class earlier, like I had never heard of such a concept. A friend of mine took one in college,
Yeah.
and you
Stand-up
know,
class, that's what your friends in college take.
we went to go see him at I think it was called Giggles. It was in the U District,
Mm.
um, and it was like all these college age kids doing their tight five,
Yeah.
and then like the professor had his time, and then there was like a professional touring comedian, and all I remember about like I so my friend did his tight five and it was okay, like he was funny because he was my friend, right, and I'd
Yeah.
probably heard all those jokes before, but then when the professional comedian got up, his entire set was just fucking making fun of the class that opened for him, like how like where's my career gone that I'm my opener is Dr. Funny,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
the guy who
Exactly.
teaches college kids how to be funny and do stand up.
So I think Ben that if
Therefore I am
you
Ben.
were to do stand-up comedy, I think your style, the thing that would work for you, is very much what Bob Odenkirk used to do, which is that you would conceive of a piece where you are playing the guy who's doing the stand-up comedy,
Right.
if that makes sense. I think that that would work for you.
Tim Heidecker did something similar to that recently. He did a whole like hour
Oh,
as
I
a
saw that.
as a character. Yeah,
Yeah,
did you see that? Yeah.
I did. Yeah. There's a guy named Zach Zucker who has his own like kind of. character comedy thing that he does, and it's really kind of interesting. You'd have to see it. I think his his character's name is Dan Tucker or so. It's like a more normal version of Zach Zucker, and yeah, he's a New York. The character is a New York comedian who does comedy stuff, and there are these sound effects that play.
I mean,
And
one could say that Andrew Dice Clay was doing a character.
yeah, oh, absolutely, yes. In fact, I think Andrew Dice Clay said Andrew
Yeah.
Dice Clay was doing a character when he got in trouble for some of the things that he was saying as Andrew Dice Clay.
I
Um,
There was a video of George Carlin defending him was posted to the front page of Reddit recently, and he never in the because he's Carlin's being interviewed on like Larry King Live or something, and
yeah,
Carlin's like, I don't really like what this guy's saying, but I'll defend to the death his right to say. He's like
yeah,
he's championing the First Amendment, and because Andrew Dice Clay was getting in a lot of trouble for what he was saying, and this is how like young people are on Reddit. Like all the top comments were, "Who is he talking about?" Where when I watched the whole thing, I'm like, "Oh, he's obviously talking about Andrew Dice Clay," because I was
yeah,
watching stand up comedy in the '80s.
yeah. It's funny. Every once in a while now, when I'm in the car or when I can't like look at the TV or whatever, because Jennifer's playing Assassin's Creed Shadows is the new game that she's playing.
It's a horrible
Um,
game.
and when she's doing it, I'll like download Reddit, read it, and instantly delete it whenever whatever is going because I cannot be trusted with that stuff at all. I just go straight down. I removed myself from all the AI stuff.
Yeah.
You notice how I haven't been talking about it at all, or mostly on the podcast recently? It's because I'm not getting fed it, 24/7 through Reddit anymore.
You're not getting the Reddit
Uh,
fed it to you.
but something worse has happened to me, Ben. I'll tell you what it is.
Chlamydia.
Chlamydia. No, Jennifer
Complete that
was
sentence.
on
Okay.
my Prime account watching a whole bunch of Dr. Phil and murder stuff and all that. All of my recommendations are trash.
She screwed your algorithm. Did you piss
My
her off somehow?
algorithm, no, no, no. She just now has been able to create her own account underneath it. That wasn't an option for a really long time.
Yeah.
So she'd have to use my Amazon account to do all this stuff. Um,
That's a danger.
but
I when
yeah,
I when I look at when I just like am mindlessly scrolling YouTube and something seems interesting, I have to like, do I want this video to
yes,
like be a part of my algorithm now?
exactly, exactly. And so yeah, so that's been screwing with me a little bit. But I've been watching, and I recommend this to you, Ben, specifically because I know that you like Mock the Week.
Yeah.
Uh, it is Last One Laughing, UK.
Okay.
Um, so I'm trying to think of. So Richard Iowati.
I do. I know who
Uh,
he is.
do you know? Oh God, his name's Rob Beckett.
Yeah, I know
He's
who Rob Beckett
he's
is.
got big teeth.
Yeah.
He's got big teeth.
And he
Rob
cannot
Beckett.
lie.
Was Judy Love ever on Mock the Week?
Maybe I've not seen
So
all of it.
anyway,
I don't
so
know who
these
that is though.
people from a lot of these people from panel shows,
Yeah.
right?
They love their panel shows in
Uh,
the UK.
Bob Mortimer, I think
I
his
know
name
the
is.
name, but I can't picture the face.
Okay, so um, lots of these characters are all in this room for 6 hours, and they're not allowed to laugh during this period of time.
Fun.
And I
Are they so they're trying to make each other laugh though?
they're trying to make each other
Yeah.
laugh, right? And it's great because you've got a couple of they do a couple of different things. One of the things that they do is like just have little performances that they'll do for each other,
Right.
and then if you laugh during that, you're out. but then occasionally, like one of them will walk up to the other person and like will talk and try to get them to laugh. It's all those things, and it's just the interaction is really really interesting, and I recommend it.
That
The
reminds
reason
me
I
of a
mentioned, oh yeah,
It reminds me of an American game show that was on for maybe one season where it was like they had real people, that like regular people as contestants, but
yep,
then like comedians as the panelists, and the panelists had to try to get the contestants to laugh, and if
yeah.
you didn't laugh, you won.
There was a show called Make Me Laugh in like the '70s, and I think it got rebooted recently.
It's probably no. This was like early 2000s, kind of late 90s,
Oh,
early
okay.
2000s.
Oh my gosh, Ben. Late '90s, early 2000s is kind of what I was thinking about when I said recently. That's a problem. That's a real problem. Um, because that guy, Crazy Lenny, was on contestant or one of the joke guys on it. On the one that I was thinking of, that's the
Yeah.
second one. But yeah,
It is like 2005 was 20 years ago. That doesn't seem like it should be 20 years. You know what I mean? Like
yeah, you're right.
the 80s
So
feel like it should be 20 years. Like I'm living in the 2000s, I guess is what I'm saying.
yes, yeah, I believe that they have the 2000s have kind of lasted the whole like this is what I would say is that
We've
when the
all
millennium happened, then we're just in the millennium now, and the decades don't really matter as much.
yeah.
Hey, speaking about the decades not really mattering too much, whoa, tariffs like crazy. Everything's
What
nuts.
did he call it? Liberation Day? Yesterday was
Liberation
Liberation
Day.
Day,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
where there's like blanket tariffs on like there was a I saw that there was a tariff levied against a group of islands that has no human inhabitants.
Yep. But good luck
There's
to.
a This is a Paul's gonna guess the news.
Okay.
There was something that happened recently where a record was broken.
Oh, um, a record was broken.
A
What's
record
it?
set by a segregationist.
Oh, yeah. Um. Oh, hey, wait a second. I know what it is. See, if you hadn't said set by a segregationist, I wouldn't know what you're talking about. You were, of course, talking about Cory Booker, breaking the filibustering record, something like 25 hours without
25
sleep,
hours and change, yeah.
without bathroom breaks.
Which
Uh, I mean, David Blaine, come on, right? I mean, that's some crazy.
crazy stuff right there. Yeah. I mean, I read that like he did that on what? Monday to Tuesday. And he said, I think I read somewhere that like he stopped eating on Friday,
Mm,
something to that effect.
interesting.
Because not being able to, like, I've not been awake. I have been awake for that a long amount of time, but I've not without going to the bathroom. But
Yeah.
I think
Oh, then you wouldn't have to go to the bathroom because you've been. Yeah, okay.
because
Yeah,
but
he got ready for it.
I've slept for many hours and have not had to use the bathroom. So my body's like, we're asleep.
Yeah.
Shut everything down.
There's a thing about that hibernating family, where they sleep pretty much all winter. They just God, I wish I could remember anything more about it, but like they all kind of sleep. Occasionally, someone will get up and put more wood on the wood burning stove, and
You're,
they'll eat like
you're
a
thinking
big
of bears,
fatty
Paul.
meal, and then they go back to. But these are people, Ben.
People.
These are people. Yeah, they like sleep through the winter. This one family. There's a news article about them.
Honestly, that sounds amazing.
They sleep through the winter. The dad wears a green hat He's always after picnic baskets. It's a human family. No, it's yeah, it's. I heard about it. I'm like, okay, you know what? If I were, I do kind of the same thing in the wintertime. I never leave the house. I still work though. I mean, I have a job.
Right.
Oh, this is kind of something for us to talk about after the podcast.
Ah.
Uh, you have to remind me. I won't forget. But I will say this: the weather was crazy in Illinois.
In the whole
In
of Illinois?
further south in Illinois, there was lots of hail and stuff. Up north near where we're at, uh, lightning storms,
Yeah.
craziness.
There was a
Oh,
big
yeah.
tornado in Arkansas. I mean, I know Arkansas is not Illinois, but still
And
crazy weather.
did you hear already about the sorry, the A&W in Canada?
The A&W in Canada.
So A&W, are you familiar with A&W at all?
The hot dog and soda place?
In hamburger, and yeah, it's the root beer, Ben.
Yeah.
So A&W famously in Canada has better ingredients than the United States already, and it's probably only gonna get worse. So here is my basic thing. We live close enough to the border that we could probably go to A&W uh, from here pretty easily. And I had figured out what it was,
If
but then I
Canada will let you
forgot.
in.
Oh yeah, that's the question though, right? Um, am I going to have to pay a tariff when I come back with the food? Um, and then I eat the food. A&W restaurant. So I'm going to find out now, Ben, where the where the nearest one in Canada is. So I'm looking in the map, and I think the closest one to me in Canada is, well, you know what? I can't say for sure. All that I know, A&W Restaurant Canada.
Like,
All
we don't have any, I don't think, in the Northwest. And if we do, they're like in the very rural parts that I've not been in. But why?
hmm,
So why would the A&Ws in Canada have better ingredients?
um, because of the regulation that they have there. This is my understanding. Okay,
The
so
regulation that Canadian restaurants have to have better ingredients than the U.S.
yep, just Canada in general. So I'm looking at this, and if I'm right, we have to go east. I thought we could go north and find a thing, but we would have to go east. And it's apparently been
Apparently, Ben.
in Windsor, Ontario.
Windsor, Ontario. I've heard of Windsor,
Windsor, Ontario.
Ontario. It's where they
It's a very
invented nuts.
did they Ben, I was you caught me out, Ben. I was only using half my
You
brain and the
seem
half that you had.
distracted.
Yes. East 98th. Oh, geez. Oh, geez, Ben.
What?
Nothing. I, I don't know what I said, and I'm sure it'll be fine. We would have
Oh,
to, we'd have to take
I think
tolls.
I
It's
got you. Yeah, yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
it's 4 hours. Four
By
hours via
car?
car. Yeah,
That's a long ways to go for a hamburger.
that's it's not that far though.
I
If you
mean, if
think
you're
about it,
already heading in that direction.
you could go there for the day and then come back, is what I'm saying.
Yeah, it's a long day.
Yeah. But you'd get to have A&W in I guess I didn't think about how big Michigan is. Yeah, if I go
And
straight,
they've had that chip on their shoulder for generations.
it's where's Minnesota? Is that Minnesota
Where's Minnesota?
is Minnesota's even further north. Wait a second.
What is
North
geography?
North Dakota. Look at how tall that is. And what's this? Winnipeg? I've never even heard of such a thing. Ben, this is getting weird. But how is Canada
How is Canada? That's a good
further
question.
south than the United States in some parts of it? This is Ben, I don't know what to say. This is
I've
I
found a
don't
new
agree.
conspiracy.
I don't agree with what's happening here. How is I'm sorry, but how is Montana How is Montana? Have you been there? No. Okay, so yeah, we have okay, Toronto is of a lower elevation than Minneapolis.
Yep.
Unacceptable. What's going on here? What are we trying? Let's
What are you
see.
trying to pull?
The Wisconsin Dells and Toronto are about this. The Wisconsin Dells are a little bit taller. And you want me to go on a water slide there? What is. All right. Now I'm steamed. I'm closing this map entirely.
I blame the liberals.
Ah. Ah.
Fake
He
maps.
says. Yeah. Oh, you've heard about that, right? The
About
map paradox?
the map paradox. Tell me about the map paradox while I go
It may not
refill
be
my water
it may
glass.
not be the paragraph the okay. So it may not be a paradox. It's the map something. Maybe it's a conundrum. I don't know. But the basic thing is this is that any map that you draw at a small scale will not be able to contain the correct coastline on that map. The coastline will need to have its edges sheared off, etc., because there's no way that you can render the small twists and turns of the coastline in the
Indeed.
correct detail. And so eventually you have to have a map that's as big as the area itself in order to get all of those twists and turns. But Ben,
1-to-1 scale.
if you made a map of a 1-to-1 scale and then moved your face closer to where you were going to, it would once again be incorrect. So it has to be at a crazy 1-to-1 scale, but it has to be at the lowest atom-like level, and you can't draw at that level, Ben. So maps will never be accurate
We
to the
should have thought
coastline.
of that when we, made the coastlines.
I think it might be called the coast paradox or the coast conundrum. I'd say coast conundrum. Then it sounds neat,
Coastlundrum.
but I don't. But there's an actual term for it somewhere. Oh, hey, we talked about this too. So there is a growing. Oh, it is about AI, Ben. Sorry. There's a growing thing that's happening though. The basic idea is this: that people more and more are asking GPTs about things and then using what the GPT tells them as a backup of their argument,
Yeah.
right? So, but as famously has been put by some people, a GPT uh, just figures out what you're asking and then says the next thing, the next logical thing in that uh, process, right? And someone has come up with the idea that because of that, if you are polite to them, they actually do respond better because they're responding in kind to
They're
what
like
you say to it.
plants.
Yeah. Exactly, Ben. And they're just waiting to be called upon so they can tell you what you need to know. We've never met before, have we? Etc.
The
No, but
Manchurian GPT.
the point is though that the Dunning-Kruger effect, as we know, which is that you don't know enough to know that you don't know what you're talking about,
Yeah.
in shorthand, um, came to the forefront when people were Googling and got what I personally am calling, the Google Genius illusion. Which, again, one of the things that we started with this podcast, the keep it wrong thing, the idea that we're not going to look stuff up, we're going to go off of what we remember. Now I just looked at a map, and I think that still counts because it made me so mad about how wrong my concept was of it. But here's the point. Uh, Someone doesn't know something. Two people don't know something. Let's say
Yeah.
you and I. And I say, boy, I don't know who Marilyn Monroe was married to. And let's pretend you don't know for just a second. And then you look it up and you say very smugly, oh, yes, that's right. She was married to blank. Death of a Salesman. Uh,
Arthur Miller.
she was married to Arthur Miller. And is that true? Yeah, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Wasn't she also married to Joe DiMaggio though? Did she get divorced?
I think
Did
she had a couple of marriages.
did Marilyn Monroe get divorced? Okay, so but the idea is that you just look it up and then you say, "Oh yeah, that's right. Arthur Miller." As though you knew it, even though you didn't. You didn't know it a minute ago, but now you know it and I don't, and you're the smart guy and I'm the dumb guy, and that's how the world is now. Once Google came around.
Yeah.
So these GPTs, Ben, even worse. Even worse because now you read it and you are confident that you are correct, but you didn't know and you still don't know, but now you feel even more so that you're entitled to be considered smart is what I was going to say. I still said it. Um, but it's just amped up, right? We feel like we know what we're talking about. I
Yeah.
think in the future, what's the next stage? The next stage is this. It's like line one. You're going to have the AI in your ear. The AI is going to tell you to do stuff. It's going to be the brain controlling your body
And in
because you're
your
going to
eyes.
listen to it and you're going to say what it says, etc. Mrs. Davis, basically.
Mrs. Davis.
Yeah, Mrs. Davis. Have you seen it?
I have not.
I think it's on Prime. No, no. I think it might be on Peacock even. I think it's on Peacock. It's worth watching. It's pretty good.
Never heard of it.
Yeah, it's about an AI and other stuff.
Ah.
Pretty neat. Yeah, definitely recommend it, Mrs. Davis. Um, so anyway, what does that mean? Where does that leave us? Ben, what episode number is this?
475.
475. This is incredible that we've done it for this long. Someone could listen to uh, an episode of our podcast once a day, and it would take them more than a year to
More
finish.
than a year. Man, that's a horrible year you've given yourself.
Oh, I don't think
At
so.
least you're
We're
listening to only one a day and not like multiple shows a day.
Well, this is what I was going to say is that how many would we need to record in order for someone to have to listen to it during their waking hours? And what about listening to it constantly? 24 hours a day, right?
Yeah.
7 days a week. That would be eight and two, 168? No, no, couldn't be.
You're
Yeah,
correct.
168 a week, 168 episodes a week, 52 weeks in a year. Ooh, that's harder. Um, okay, let's see. 52 weeks in a year. I said 168, right? Is that right?
168
Okay.
hours in a
168
week.
hours. So it would be 848,400 uh, hours in 50 weeks, and then 168 times 2 is 633,
Live math.
336. Is it 8,736?
You are correct.
Oh, hey, look at that. So we have a long way to go, is
What's
what I'm saying.
8,736 minus 475?
Uh, Say it again.
8,736 minus 475.
Okay. 8,400, 476?
475. 8,700.
8,000. Give me the 8,000.
8,736.
8,700.
8736 minus
Um,
475.
um, is it 861? No. 8261?
It is 8261.
Yeah. I have
Maths.
autism. Um, I'm sorry. I mean, I am autism.
You are
Ah,
autism?
yeah, yeah, yeah.
All right.
And with
Well,
that,
and with that,
yeah,
end of the
I am
show.
autistic. Is the preferred way that autistic people talk about it. And who am I to get them to be mad at me? But you are one, yes. Am I? You are one, they say. Ugh, Ben, it's been wonderful
in
talking to
that
you.
in that case, Paul Goody, I bid you a very well. Keep it wrong, and how's it happening? And the
How's it happening?
forgotten
Keep it
third
wrong.
term. We decided one week,
Uh,
and then just discarded.
we've made it through March, Ben. Once again.
Now we can make it through anything.
Yes. And with that, I'll talk to you later.
All right.
Wonderful talking to you.